From Studio 1A in Tampa, Florida, comes a talk show that really feels your pain and tells you like it is. We love America and all that freedom-loving Americans want to protect. Live from coast to coast and on your radio, it's For the People with Keith Allen.
We'll help you survive this thing called life. We're for the people. Whatever your source of stress or strife, for the people is there.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I am Keith Allen, and proudly welcoming you into this edition of For the People on a July the 20th, 2018. Last week, I was not around. Some of my audience was wondering, where is Keith Allen? Maybe he took a vacation, but he didn't tell anybody. First, before we get into the show, I would like to welcome affiliate 1450 WKAL. 1450 WKAL is Utica, Rome. It's Utica, New York, and a great station, great heritage, and great to be part of the lineup here on this fine radio station. What a privilege to actually have a new affiliate, and you're in for a treat if you're new to For the People, that's for sure. All right, so why was I missing? And this is, I'm being so transparent, I'm being so real. Some of you realize that I lost my dad back in 1995, and he died in my arms. Massive heart attack. He was a smoker. He was overweight. He was an engineer. And here it is. I'm 48 years old. And so for close to 20-something years in my head, I've been wondering, is there something wrong with me? Have you ever done that before? If there's a family member that had something wrong with them, with diabetes or heart disease, or if they had cancer, just an underlying thought in itself, it's kind of scary. And I've suffered from high blood pressure for many years. And the doctor believed through exercise and diet, I might be able to reverse it, but it just hasn't happened. And certain foods trigger your blood pressure. Salts do it, MSGs do it, just certain ingredients can trigger it. And I had a fast heart rate. It's like trachycardia or something to that extent. And so I admitted myself. I just drove into the hospital, and I got to tell you something, I kind of regret doing that. They ran every test that you could imagine, and believe me, if my blood pressure was high when I entered, could you imagine how high it was when I got in? Wasn't a good scenario. But with the tests, relief, really. And that I realized that my heart is in great condition. There's no plaque. All the arteries look good. You just couldn't have anything better other than through stress. That's the big thing. And exercise and losing a few extra pounds. Now, if you met me, I'm tall. I'm 6'2". I weigh probably about I weigh 242. Now, I should weigh under that. Okay, I should probably be 220, 215. I need to lose weight. Now, I don't appear to be fat, but I have a little belly underlying. It doesn't hang out. It's not a beer belly of any sort. Not like that, but I have a belly, and a lot of men do. Now, a lot of men will not go. A lot of women will not go to the hospital. They won't go to the doctors. They don't want to hear that they have something wrong with them. Now, underlying for years, I thought that because my grandmother died of heart disease, my father did at 50 years old. Now, I don't smoke, okay, and I don't eat a really bad diet, and I have exercised, believe it or not, through the years. But sometimes when exercise is not enough, you really have to be so proactive with your health these days. You have to know what your numbers are, because heart disease, I got to tell you, folks, it's scary. But it's the number one killer in this country. Number one killer. You got to have a blood pressure cuff. Okay? You got to take it and you journal it. That's something that I'm going to be doing. And I'm on some blood pressure medicines, and the doctor wants me off them. But it's a short-term solution but it's not a lifelong haul. I have to drop some pounds. I have to exercise regularly. Cycling is something that's fun, and my doctor, she's from India, terrific. Yes, her name's Dr. Patel. She's wonderful, but she knows her stuff. She's good. And having a doctor that you can talk to, that you can feel comfortable with, that's a good thing. Now, I was a little trepidatious of coming on the air and talking about it, but I have found that by talking about it adds a little relief because I do have an action plan put together. Yes, thank God there's no plaque. There's none of that, but having high blood pressure can lead to all of those things. And before it's too late, you can reverse these things. And a lot of stuff is reversible. A lot of stuff you can do something about it. A lot of times we just get complacent. You think you feel okay, or you just kind of put up with certain things. And but then the big one happens. You don't want the big one. You don't want hardening of the arteries. They have these life scan places that you can go in that will scan your arteries. Okay, go in, have one of those done. You can be in your 40s. 30s. Start young. If you have a disposition for it. And sometimes even if you don't. If you had a horrible diet, stressful job, and you just want to make sure, because that's peace of mind. Just to know that all that's ticking along. Because that's the engine, buddy. Ma'am, that's the engine of your body. You want to make sure that it's in great condition. So listen, I'm being transparent with my life, and I'm taking things seriously with nutrition and with exercise. And when I'm off the medication, I'll let you know. But yes, lost pounds does help. When you're taller, you can wear the weight a little bit better, and people don't notice. But when you take your shirt off, I have a little belly, and that's a good 15, 20 pounds there all the way around. But you can't notice it when I stand up. So I have one of those kind of bellies. You just can't tell. You got to lose it. All right. So there's some advice for you. It's an uncomfortable subject. I realize it. It's not the kind of talk radio some of you want. It's like, oh my God, now this guy's raised my blood pressure. He's upset me. But listen, it could save your life. And it's not worth something. Or somebody near and dear to you, next to you, that might be a little stubborn. Find the time to take them. Find a way to make it happen, because I'm telling you, a lot of this is simply preventable. And the technology, folks, that they have now at the hospitals and at the doctor's offices, they can do a sonogram of the heart. You know, the same stuff that they use for women to find out if they're pregnant or not, they can run through your arteries, they can run through your heart, they can look at it, and they can tell you what's going on. And you want to have a clear bill of health so you feel good about it. But exercise and nutrition, my friend, and no smoking. If you're a smoker, you're playing Russian roulette. Seriously. You know, those stories about the farmers who are 90 years old and smoking and eating bacon and eggs, good for them. Good for them. But you know what? It's not even the 1%, right? It is ridiculous to think those things. My brother, I love him. He lives in Dallas. He has 2 stents in his heart, still smokes. Yes, he had a heart attack. My younger brother. Okay, so can you see why? My dad dies at 50. My younger brother in his early 40s. I don't smoke. I don't smoke. Okay, and that's that right there, my friend. It elevates. It puts plaque in your arteries. I heard one guy say in one of these PSAs just the last week, he said, oh, the doctor says that I had this heart attack, and he was early, 35, not even 40. And yeah, had the heart attack. And he says, I just thought it messed up your lungs. No, it actually does a lot of damage to your body that you don't see. And they call heart disease the silent killer, because a lot of times you can feel fine. I asked my dad the day that he died in September 2nd of 95. He said he felt fine. We're getting ready to go to a radio convention in New Orleans. Get checked out. If this is ever a public service announcement, I'm not a doctor. I'm just a talk show host that cares and cares enough to be able to share my story. And I hope it encourages you to do something positive for yourself and treat yourself well. Treat yourself well. It's a little scary. Go in with somebody to hold your hand through it. Tell them you're a little nervous about it. We're all nervous about it. We don't like to find out there's something wrong. But if they find out that there's something wrong with you, they can fix you. They can fix you, folks. They can put you back together, so to speak. They know how to do it. And we live in some of the best times, medically speaking. The things that they can do now with, if you need a stint, you can be back to work by 5 o'clock. I mean, it's in and out. It's so fast. It's not even funny. If you need a Roto-Rooter, they clean you out and they put you on medicine. It's just they have this stuff down to a science. And again, go in with somebody. You've heard about this duck capsizing, the duck boat. This is a tragic story and a very unfortunate story. Up to 17 dead. It was 13. It's gone up throughout today and this weekend. Up to 17 after a duck boat capsized on a Branson area lake. And some of the dead, unfortunately, were children. At least 7 people, 4 adults, 3 children were hospitalized after the tragedy. It happened on the Table Rock Lake. According to Brandy Clifton, a spokeswoman for the Cox Medical Center, Branson, 2 adults were in critical condition. Others were being treated for minor injuries. Looking at some pictures off the wire, definitely looks stormy. This is what it looked like at Table Rock Lake, 9 nautical miles from where Ride the Ducks boat capsized, and they show this picture of very choppy waters. Because you don't have, we're not on YouTube, we're not on Facebook, this is radio, so I'm kind of painting the picture here. The Southern Stone County Fire Department said multiple agencies responded to the mass casualty incident. Notice how they're calling it mass casualty incident. Well, 17. That's the death toll right now. And it involved a tourist-type boat at around 7:12 p.m. Central Time. Stone County Sheriff Doug Rader said 31 people were aboard the Ride the Ducks boat when wind gusts up to 60 miles an hour caused these huge waves to slam into the vessel, which capsized it ultimately. An off-duty sheriff's deputy who was on the boat at the time immediately stepped into action, thankfully, and understandably, he did his job. He saved several people who had been thrown overboard. So doing his job, doing what he should do. Thank God that he knew how to act quickly, but unfortunately, the 60-mile-per-hour winds. A lot of people very saddened by this tragic accident that occurred at Ride the Ducks Branson. Not good PR. Ducks boats, known for their ability to travel on land and water, have been involved in other deadly accidents. From research that I've done, 5 college students killed when a boat collided with a bus in Seattle in 2015. 13 people died from that after a boat sank near Hot Springs, Arkansas. It was back in 99. And then since 99, 37 people have been killed in duck boat accidents, with 24 of those coming just from the Hot Springs accident. Dear Lord. Yeah, this is a nightmare. The tourist boat tragedy on the Missouri Lake is bringing all sorts of renewed attention to the problem-plagued history of these, what they're calling so-called duck boats. 13 people, it's 17 now. All these reports, they need to update them, but children, men, women, and children went for an excursion here, and the weatherman just kicked up. It took them by surprise, did not expect all of that. So they're going to be looking into this to find out. But it was